Well, how are we all doing out there today? We have some news and it's going to be a little bit more focused on the UK side of it. But once again, I'm going to say the intro that I've done for like the last couple of weeks now. It just seems like we're saying this all the time. What a day in the market again, especially on the UK side of it. Today, if you hold any UK stocks, you're going to be a little bit more happy because you've been looking at the US stocks the last couple of weeks and you've been going, yeah, they're doing really well. Then you've looked at UK stocks and you've been like, ugh. But today, the UK stocks kind of joined in with that rally that we've had in the US side of it. You know, there's been that kind of rally in the UK stocks because the news in the US has been so good. But now today, the UK seems to be rallying on its own news, its own inflation data news, which has been massively different from what we've had in the last few months, where more than anything, we've had the inflation data come in worse than what's expected. But today the headlines say that it is better than what's expected, although unfortunately the video is going to be a little bit more of a negative tone to what you would think it's going to be, considering we have had inflation come in better than what's expected. But hope you enjoyed the video anyway today guys. Let's get stuck into it. So S&P 500, as recording this video, it is around about 3:30. So at the moment, the S&P has opened up once again really strong. It's up at 0.47%. And once again, we are starting to close again into them all-time highs. We are now currently only 3.9% away from touching all-time highs on the S&P 500. But we are going to be more focused on the UK markets today. The UK markets, fantastic day. If you look at the FTSE 250, 3.6% today. What a rally that is. The FTSE 100, even the FTSE 100 was rallying up 2.2%. It takes a lot for the FTSE 100 to go up that much, and obviously that had a really good day, and it got stronger as the day went on as well, which is obviously really impressive. And like I said, if you own any UK stocks, that has flooded into any UK stocks and they have rallied up a lot. For example, S4 Capital, obviously one that we talk about a lot on the channel. You know, this was one that I was getting a million questions on about the stock going down and down and down. And I was like, hey, it happens in the stock market. Sometimes, you know, stocks just go to ridiculous low valuations and it doesn't make sense. And with a snap of your fingers, that absolute crazy valuations then bought up, and then you're like looking at it going, well, you know, you look at the dip that we've been on, you know, who were the people that sold at £1.09? They won't say it, but there's people out there that sold at £1.09, and it's like, why has it got down there? I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Like, it shouldn't be down here, and then boom, you know, we snap up and we have the rally. And you know, what people were selling out only a week ago, 2 weeks ago at £1, you know, £1.13, and now buying in at £1.13. Those that sold out at £1.50 are now buying back in at £1.50. It doesn't. That's the stock market, guys. It's the stock market. It happens. And I was saying to you, S4 Capital, it just, you know, you look at the valuation, it just doesn't make sense why it's got that so low, and it's been on this, you know, brutal downtrend for the last 3 months. But then boom, you know, we break it, and then from that time frame, you know, we're up 37%, and we probably should be up even more. You know, that's the stock market for you. But we started to see the rally in a lot of UK stocks. S4 Capital is just one example, but there was even, I look at the Bright Developments, that was rallying up quite a bit. Forterra was rallying up quite a bit. Legal and General seems to have been on a bit of a run. The likes of Alphawave being on a good. There's a lot of stock. I think even Boohoo had a good day today. So yeah, I think nearly every UK stock had a bit of a rally up today. It was hard to find a UK stock that was having a bit of a bad day, but yeah, obviously really good. Now the reason why that came off, oh, by the way, I just wanted to point this out for you. I had a spam comment. I get it, you guys probably see it. There's always some spam comments in the comment section, and there was this one from the Susan bot, and Susan bot put, with the markets tumbling and inflation soaring, the Fed imposing large interest. I thought, hold on here, like, you're going to have to update your spam comments now, guys. I said, we haven't got markets tumbling at the moment. Have you seen the S&P 500? We're nearly at the all-time highs right now. Have you looked at inflation? We're at basically 2% right now. Come on, you Susan bots. You're going to have to update your spam comments a little bit. We're not in a tumbling market anymore. You can't use your fear pitch to get people to buy your scam courses. So anyway, that made me chuckle a little bit when I saw that the other night. Anyway, but obviously looking at UK inflation, the headline is UK inflation rate slides to 7.9% in June, below expectations. So yesterday I said that I think it's 8.2 that was expected, and you can see here it was 8.2 that was expected, and we came in at the 7.9%. So everyone happy that we saw a bigger drop in inflation. And obviously at the headline numbers, that looks really positive, and that's why the UK market's rallying. Like, oh, are we finally starting to move a bit more into the positive direction? There's that optimism kind of returning. And the key sign that this was actually going to be a really good day already is actually when you look at the US dollar to the sterling. I talked about this yesterday. You know, it seems this is coming up a bit more at the moment because it's been on a bit of a decline. I last talked about it when it went on a rally, and I said, hey, don't worry about it. It averages out over the long term. Don't change your investment philosophy over an FX impact. And then it's gone the other way, and I've started to have a million questions about it again, going, oh, what about this? And it's like same again. It'll probably go the other way before you know it, and it averages out over the long term. Don't change your investment philosophy on it. And that was clear once again. What I said yesterday, proven right. Just overnight, boom. You go from 0.76 up to 0.78, and obviously the dollar gained some ground today. And obviously, if you were looking at your account when before the market, if any of you guys are up at 7 a.m. looking at the markets like some of us do, you would have seen already that FX impact actually coming into your account already. And then the UK stocks opened, and then it was a bit of a more rally. And then when the US markets opened, it rallied up. It's been a fantastic day, so it just carried on rallying more and more. But going back to the point, obviously the headlines look good, and that's why the market's rallying. Personally, for me, I looked at it and I wasn't that impressed with the headline figures. I still have a lot of concerns on the UK market. My opinion on the UK market and the UK, particularly the UK economy, I still think there's good UK stocks in there. That's why I own them. That have gone to way too low values because of the issues that have been out there. But I still worry for the UK economy slightly compared to the US. I think the US is in a good place. They tackled their inflation very well. Interest rates should start coming down a lot quicker in the US, but in the UK we've been slower to tackle inflation. And even now inflation says it's 7.9%. Unfortunately, when you start digging into the numbers, it's still pretty high. You look at food and non-alcoholic beverages, it's still 17.4. If you look at clothing, it went up. If you look at the likes of housing, it's basically the same. Health dropped slightly. Furniture and goods was one of the biggest droppers. Transport did drop a bit, but communication still went up. Education was flat. There's still a lot of categories that are still going up or flat and not decreasing, and it's still quite high interest rates. So we still have a lot of that to start coming down. And the thing is, for me, obviously when I go out, and even it was at this point yesterday, I went to go get some dinner, and I paid for my dinner, and it's a place that I normally go to for my dinner. And my dinner went from I think it's something like the meal deal or that I pay is like £3.50, and that's what I was paying only a couple of months ago. And then yesterday it was like £4.30, and it's an absolute crazy jump in only a couple of months. And it's when you look at true inflation as well, which is probably one of the biggest indicators out there about what's kind of going on in the markets at the moment, and you look at that, and it's that's still feeling at 11.5%. And I've got to agree, when I go out there, it doesn't, the UK economy doesn't feel like it's dropping. It doesn't feel like it's 7.9%. I'm looking at true inflation and thinking this to me feels like a more of a realistic point of view where we're at. And the problem is that when you do look at the inflation in the UK side of it, we have been slower to tackle the issue. We went to a lot, when you look at true inflation in December time, we were at 21.64%. We went a lot higher than the US, and it's also dragging on. The US managed to tackle their inflation within basically nearly a 12-month period. For us in the UK, it's probably going to take us closer to like 2 years, double the time to tackle inflation. And it went higher as well, which obviously is another issue. And one of the big issues is obviously our energy situation. Our energy situation is a mess in the UK. It's gone sky high. Obviously, as well as that, we're paying the rates. There's a lot more profiteering from companies going on in the UK at the moment. And you look here, at the moment, you look at the wholesale gas prices where we're at, and you look at what the price cap is at the moment and how high it is compared to wholesale prices. And they say it's like an indicator, but the whole system's wrong. There's a lot of companies that are charging the higher rate because they're only using a small amount of the higher, gas prices, rather than, the cheap renewables that a lot of the companies are producing at the moment, and not basing it off, actual what percentage of renewable energy is being used. The cheap renewable energy is being used, and you look at the situation. This price cap's probably going to last through October 2023 and go all the way to like June 2024. We're going to be paying these high prices all the way through winter when we don't need to, when wholesale gas prices are this low. And the big thing as well is when we go through the winter period, that is the time where you use most energy because of heat and etc. So, you know, of the worst time to play these inflated prices is through winter, which is once again wrong and you know, affecting the consumer more and more. And the big issue is that whereas in the US, they were able to not go as high on inflation and tackle it in a shorter period, they didn't have a wage spiral. Whereas in the UK now, we're starting to have that wage spiral come in because we've had inflation go higher and longer. All of us in the UK, or a lot of people in the UK now, have gone, I can't afford this inflation pressure on me. Then the US had to deal with it for a short period of time, it's not as high a period of time, so they didn't get sucked into a spiraling wage cycle. In the UK now, we've got to the point where we go, right, if it's going to stay like this, I need more money. And we've had so many jobs now having to offer pay increases to their workers, or even the public sector now going, look, we need pay increases. And now that we've had a spiral where, you know, we're in a price spiral increase, then what's going to happen again? All these companies are going, well, all our wages are going up again, so now we're going to have to put our prices back up again. And then what do you have the knock-on effect there? You have inflation that continues to spiral upwards. And that's the big issue. Like, it looks like a good headline today, but the problem is that we're still not in a great place. There's still prices clearly going up. True inflation is still clearly going up. We are entering a bit more of a, you know, wage spiral increase in the UK, and that means that everything else then has to catch up to the wages going up, and everyone else putting up their fees or whatever it will be to get back in the money to cover the wages now. So that doesn't help. So that's where we can have a situation where inflation is a lot more stickier because we haven't dealt with it. And let's put it all the cards on the table. The UK government has dealt with inflation so badly that we are in this mess, and that's the issue. So whereas you see me, I'm normally a positive guy. You know me, I've always been positive. I'm a positive in the stock market in the long term, but I do look at this today, and you know, I do look at this situation and go, I am normally positive in this environment, and I do try and be positive in the long term, and I am positive in the US. But unfortunately, at the UK, the headlines do look good today, but I have to say, I still see couple of issues in the UK economy. I still see a couple of issues in the inflation battle at the moment, and I aren't going to start doing the victory dance in the UK markets like how I was doing in the US. You know, obviously in the US market, I was kind of, you know, having the victory party a little bit. With the UK, I'm not doing that just yet because I do still have the few concerns out there about it, unfortunately. But it's a good day. We know we'll take the victory at the moment, but I am personally not getting too carried away at the moment is what I'll say. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're having a good day in the stock market and a good day in general, as always, anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching. You guys on the Patreon, I'll try to get exclusive video up for you guys later today. So if you do want to see that, link is in the description. £5 a month, it's not too bad for 2 exclusive videos a week. And a Discord with 500 members on to talk about stocks, especially with the rally that we've had at the moment. So if you do want to join it, I'll see you on the Discord. See you in a bit, guys.